Hello and welcome to another edition of Open Studios here at NCM Hub. My name is Lilly, Dissette, and today I am joined by Mary Jodice, music director at St. Paul's Episcopal Church and founder of choral group Jubilate. Now, first of all, Mary, let me say welcome to Newburyport. How are you enjoying working here so far?
So far, so good. There's a lot of good coffee shops.
That is very true.
Yes.
It's very true. Do you have a favorite?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right. You have time to explore still.
I do.
Now, Mary, would you mind sharing a bit about Jubilate and why you founded it and how it has grown over the past 5 years?
Sure. It's kind of a long story, but in 2019, I had breast cancer. So I'm a survivor, and I went with my partner, who's an organist, in 2019 during my treatment to Liverpool Cathedral because he was playing a concert. And I had been a choral conductor, and I had a church job and everything, and I stood there in the choir, and I said, you know, someday I'd like to have my own choir to come here. I said, all right. So then we went through the rest of that and everything. Then we had COVID. And in COVID, all the arts and music gigs ended. So all of my friends, I went back to graduate school late. So I have a lot of friends in their early 30s, late 20s. We had nothing to do. We didn't have any church. We didn't have any way to earn money. We had nothing. And with musicians, if you don't have a gig or music to make, that's not a good thing. It's very soulless. So I said, all right, I'll get together 8 of my friends, 2 of each of the vocal parts, so 4 parts, 2 people each, who are willing to do this. And we rehearsed every Monday, starting in September of 2020, in my church parish hall. At the time it was in Marblehead, masked, and I made sure that we had 6 feet of distance between us. So every Monday we rehearsed. Once a month we performed. So we performed evensong, we did a chamber messiah, we did an early music concert, like everything, so that once a month we could perform to an empty church. Except it wasn't so empty. The Salem TV people came because there was nothing else going on, and they broadcast our concerts as well. I used my iPhone, and we broadcast it on Facebook and YouTube.
That's wonderful.
So we have a lot of recordings. So we had something to do from September until June, and in June things kind of eased up a little bit, and we got some gigs back and everything. So fast forward in that fall, I said, well, I think I'll make Jubilate a little bit bigger. And so a lot of my choir members joined, volunteers, and we did another concert I think it was a Requiem concert in November, and then Jubilate got bigger again. And I said, okay, maybe this is time to go to England. Kind of an underdog situation, because really only the big shops in Boston, Trinity Church, is the one that's going this year, and they have tons of singers and tons of money and wonderful people, but that's not us. So we're about 23 people. I have 5 professional section leaders out of my friends, and I have the rest are volunteers. We range in age from 16 to 80-something, we won't say what, and all kinds of levels, but they all love church, they all love evensong. So what we're doing this particular project is to go sing evensong, which is sung evening prayer. So when the Reformation happened, before that England was Catholic, and the monks would sing vespers and things like that. So Thomas Cranmer took the vespers and the compline service, and he sort of distilled it down to one service. So it's a sung evening prayer service. And that's what we're doing. So we're going to Chichester Cathedral in August of this year for a choral residence, which means we're there from Monday to Sunday. We sing evensong every day, and we sing 2 Eucharist services on Sunday with an evensong. So we are, in effect, the choir in residence during that time. And this is quite a lot to get ready for. We're funding it ourselves. Everyone's paying. We have a small UK choir tour group that we work with, but it's not like working with the big people. So we have to do everything ourselves. That's why I say we're underdogs, but we're very good.
I believe it.
Yeah, and we work really hard.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
May I ask what your connections were to England? You said you began the inspiration for this in Liverpool.
Yes, my connection to England, when I started organ late in life, in my 40s, and my teacher was a chorister at King's College, Cambridge, and he sort of instilled in me the love of that type of music. And when I went to take courses, there were none for older people. It's all for younger people, except in England, where they have a lot of choral and organ courses. So I started to go, and every year for like 8 years, I've been to England in the summer, taking a choral course or an organ course, or now just touring around and making friends and hearing music. So that's what drives me towards that. England has a great system for teaching young people music, which is what I've done in the past, which I'm hoping to do at St. Paul's in the fall, establishing a chorister program, like a free program with musical training and to sing in church.
That's wonderful. I imagine singing in the old English cathedrals adds a lot to the atmosphere as well.
Going into them,
it's beautiful,
fabulous, right? You wonder, these people were living in mud huts and they built these cathedrals. How did that happen?
Astounding.
It is. It is astounding.
That's wonderful. Well, you answered about 5 of my questions right here.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm glad that you're so talkative about this. It's clear that it's a passion of yours. So you began your musical career as an organist, is that correct?
I began playing the piano at 5.
Piano at 5, okay.
I got into music school and I was told I couldn't go. My parents were very practical. So I didn't pick up music again until my 40s, which was a long time. So I had a career in finance. And then I heard the organist at church and I said, ooh, I want to do that. And so eventually I asked him for lessons. He said, yes, but you need to sing in the choir and you need to be my choir librarian and keep me organized. So I think he had an ulterior motive. But yet after that was a straight shot up. I went to Lilly School of Music in Cambridge. They accepted me. And it was a straight shot from there. So, and I'm going back to Lilly in the fall for another performance certificate. So
that's wonderful.
Never too late.
Exactly, it's never too late.
Never too late.
Now, when you did begin rehearsing it, you mentioned the 6 feet of distance. Were you singing with masks on as well?
Yeah, they sang with
wow.
masks, yeah. I mean, we had to follow the rules, even though
That's
now
true.
we kind of know that it wasn't really necessary, but it was necessary at the time. I was the only one that didn't wear a mask, because you can't teach and conduct with a mask. So I stayed way away from these people. Nobody got sick.
That's
ever.
great.
We were totally fine. From September to June, nothing happened, thank God. But yeah, so we had masks, singers' masks. I actually took a tape measure and measured 6 feet between the chairs, and it worked fine.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Now, singer's masks, I'm just a bit curious about that. This is off
At the
topic, but what is that?
time, people were making singer's masks, so they kind of look like a duck bill.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, who knows if they work. They were cloth, who knows. But they came out like this, and they have a face like that, so you have room to breathe and
I see.
sing. And it worked.
It's very clever. I
That
didn't know
was
we had
clever.
those.
Yeah, we found a place online that made them, for better or worse.
Hey, you adapt.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now that Jubilate has grown to 23 members, how would you describe the community that is formed within the
Oh,
group?
it's wonderful. So because it's such a wide disparity of ages, everybody is friends. So, we have 20-year-olds sitting next to 80-year-olds complaining about their love life, or, a bunch of them are going to room together. A bunch of them play Dungeons and Dragons together. There's a real willingness to cross the age line. There are no ages. Age is just a number.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Yeah. And I'm sure you can get a lot of wisdom from the older people in the group as well.
But even from the younger people,
different perspectives.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not about that. It's about being in community, which is most important, especially these days.
And especially during COVID, which is the whole reason you founded this, right?
That's the whole reason we did it.
Yeah,
and
that's
because
wonderful.
we were bored.
Now, before this big trip to England this summer, you have an event coming up in the nearer future, being the Evensongs service to honor those who passed during the pandemic, which is on Sunday, March 9th at 5 o'clock. Now, you already explained a bit about what an Evensong is. Could you tell me a bit about your program and what to expect when attending the service?
So Evensong is a chance for people to come on a Sunday night and actually just sit and listen if that's what you want. There are 3 hymns from our prayer book, from our hymn book, the Episcopal hymn book, that people can sing. There are prayers. There's no Eucharist, so it's sometimes a little more palatable for those of other faiths to come and sit through an evensong. It's about 50 minutes. There's a reception afterwards. Evensong structure is a psalm of the day. I chose Psalm 23 because it's a remembrance service. That's the Lord is my shepherd psalm. And then there's a Magnificat, which is Song of Mary, and there's a Nunc Dimittis, which is the Song of Simeon. So every evensong has a Magnificat, a noctimedes, and we're doing an anthem. Everybody does an anthem. The anthem is an unaccompanied choir piece called Going Home. And it's on the theme of the Dvorak's New World Symphony. And my friend Nicholas White, who's a composer at St. Paul's School in Concord, wrote the piece. So he's a living composer that we perform quite often. So that's what we're doing. It's really fun. It's very meditative. The organ will be great. It'll be fun.
Absolutely. Now, circling back to the choir tour in England, could you tell me a bit more about how this opportunity came about?
Sure. Well, I knew of it. I mean, certainly going to England, you hear, oh, the Americans are coming. They're going to be... They were always looking... So British choirs pretty much work all year, except they have a couple months off in the summer. And the bigger cathedrals with a lot of tourism... So Chichester's a big tourist place. It's down in the south. And people go there for the beach, believe it or not. But they want their cathedrals staffed. So they invite, they are open to having visiting choirs come and be in residence. And it's a fantastic opportunity for Americans because we don't have that here. The Washington National Cathedral is not going to let Jubilate come and be in residence. It's just not happening. They might let Trinity come, but they're not, that's okay. But we have this opportunity. So I found Victoria Stockwell and her husband Tom, and they just recently started a 2-person UK choir tours. And I said, okay, they're underdogs, we are, so we'll work with them. And they've been great, finding housing, helping us get organized, and the people at the cathedral have been really welcoming. My partner, who is the organist, he and I are going after Easter, right after Easter evening, over there, to try the organ and hang out in Chichester and find the best coffee shop. So yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity.
How large is this town in the UK?
Chichester?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an old town. I mean, it's a medieval town.
Okay.
There have been breakfasts and old places to stay, and it's right near Portsmouth, which is where the Normandy invasion was launched from. It's about 20 minutes, I think. So that would be another thing to go explore while we're down there.
Yeah, definitely. So you have some free time to explore as well?
A little bit.
All right.
Don't tell the choir that.
Don't get their hopes up.
The hopes up. So evensong is every day in the afternoon at 5:15. We have a rehearsal in the afternoon, I think at 4. So most of the day is free. We have Wednesday off, so we can go. Everyone could just do what they want. But it is work. There's a lot of work. There's 7 sets of Magnificats, Noctimedes, anthems, responses, hymns, and lots of psalms. So the music file for this is about this big.
Wow.
In paper, and I'm still adding to it. They don't know that, but yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun work. It's work that we think is valuable to bring this music out there.
Absolutely, yeah. So is it a different program every single night?
Yes.
That's why the repertoire or the...
Yes, that's a good
Yeah.
question. Yes, it is. Because we go by, so in the Anglican Church or Episcopal Church, every day there are set readings and set psalms for all the different services of the day. So early, mid, and evensong and compline. So we take the service of the day, and that's what we do. And it was my choice of putting music together. Like, I would do this Magnificat on this day, but the psalms and the hymns are their choice to
That's
go
great.
with the daily office. Yeah.
Right. So considering the age range of people in this group, is this anyone's first time going to England?
It's all of our first.
All of our first-
Well, I mean,
well,
all of our first time being in residence.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Very
we're
nice.
very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. That's wonderful. So how do you go about selecting the music for these programs?
Oh, well, there are certain, they're called canticles. So Magnificats and Noctimedes are a pair, and there are about over 1,000 settings in the world. Everybody writes for it. So, you pick a setting that's going to sound good in the cathedral. So it's a big space with a big organ and a lot of acoustic, right? Maybe 4 times what I have over at St. Paul's. So you want to pick some of the bigger things. You want to pick some of the well-known English composers. I did choose one woman composer. We're doing a piece by Lizzie Wheeler, and she was the first woman to write a Magnificat and a Noctimedes. So she was in Dublin. She wrote it, I think she was a student of Stanford, but I couldn't swear to that. But she wrote it for her first performance in Dublin, Ireland, and that's the only thing she ever wrote. She disappeared. We really don't know much about her, but we're singing it the
That's
last
wonderful.
day. I'm bringing some living composers, Nicholas White, I'm bringing older things, much older things, Barristow, Stanford, T. Tertius Noble, Purcell, things like that. So music I think is beautiful, so it's a lot of my choice, but no one's complaining yet. So we'll see.
And they do get some input, correct?
No.
Oh, no?
No.
So it doesn't matter then.
It's a benevolent dictatorship.
I see,
They
I
rely
see.
on me to choose and teach.
I'm sure that your judgment is good.
I hope so.
Now, is all the music in English? Do you do some Latin or other languages?
There's some Latin. You know, that doesn't really, I don't think about that. But yeah, there are some pieces in Latin. They're mostly in English. The Magnificats and Noctimidices are in English. The Psalms are in English. A couple of the anthems are in Latin.
That's wonderful.
Mm.
Now, do you have any hopes for Jubilate in the future? Are there any other projects or performances on the horizon besides this trip to England?
There are lots of performances.
Yeah.
We actually did a Messiah in Salem in December this year, and I'm going to bring it here to Newburyport in December of this year. So maybe slightly different, but Jubilate sang. My soloists were the soloists. I played the piano and I had a violinist, but I might do it with my harpsichord this time. We'll see. And then there's requiem concerts. We might do a requiem concert. But Jubilate will stay. We currently are not at any one church. We're doing evensongs at the Tabernacle Congregational in Salem, which is where we have our rehearsals. We're doing evensong at St. Paul's in Newton, and we're doing evensong here. So I kind of almost envision it as we will happily go and do evensongs wherever we are asked to spread the word. Not a lot of parish choirs right now are capable of this or have the mass for this. You know, after COVID, religion kind of took a downturn. People stopped going to church in person. They're online, which doesn't make a great community. So with this group, I could expand it a little bit more, but I'd like to do some more traveling with them.
That's wonderful. Well, that leads me into my next question. For those who'd be interested in joining or supporting Jubilate, how can they get involved?
They can contact me, and you can give them my email.
All right.
We just joined Fractured Atlas, which is it's an outfit that helps us be a 501c3 without going through the legalities of it. So it's like a almost like a cover firm, but they do it for a lot of smaller firms. So now our donations to us are actually tax deductible, and I can send people a link for that. But I'm just getting used to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm doing all the marketing myself, and we barely have a Facebook page. We do have a website, so we're getting there. It just takes a lot.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
might as
work.
well tell us what the website name is for people who'd
I
be
have no
interested.
idea.
All right.
We can put it in print.
Yes, I'll include it in the description or
that would
something.
be great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much to Mary Jodice
Yes.
of Jubilate for joining me here today. Jubilate's next performance will be on March 9th at 5 p.m. at St. Paul's Church in Newburyport to honor those we lost during the pandemic. Do you have to get tickets? Do you just show up at the
Just
door?
come. Just
come.
bring a friend.
Bring a friend, just come.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, best of luck to you, Mary,
Thank
and
you.
your fellow choir members, both in your domestic and international endeavors. My name is Lilly Dissette, and this has been Open Studios here at NCM Hub.